good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much, Inkem and the whole Her Network team for this amazing platform and for the opportunity for me to moderate this panel. Sorry, I missed your name, and I addressed Izzy here. As Izzy mentioned, my name is Folake Edun, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of TownTalk, which is a data intelligence company. My background is in risk management, risk consulting to be precise. I do not have a technology background in any way whatsoever. However, I do run a technology company. I absolutely love technology, and I fully buy into the relevance of it and how important it is in our societies, in our working lives, in our personal lives. And it basically solves problems. I understand technology does create problems, but we're not here to talk about that today. It makes our lives easier. It helps us focus our energy on what matters. It helps us collaborate. It helps us, it improves our decision making, and the list goes on. Specifically, as most people have probably not heard about TownTalk, I'm just going to take like 20 seconds to explain what we do. The problem we focus on is the data problem in Africa, which is the dearth of data. Specifically, how limited access to structured, meaningful, actionable data directly affects individuals and businesses' ability to protect themselves from disruptive events. So that could be that a road accident affects your route of commute, or there's a buildup of violent protests that is going to impact your business branches. Just having that information can be very detrimental, can be life-changing to how you respond to certain incidents. So we've developed real-time and proactive risk management solutions to help our clients proactively protect their people, property, assets, and operations. So I have some lovely ladies on the panel with me today that I know you're keen to dive in to hear what they have to say on the topic of entrepreneur, tech, and her. So we'll just dive in now. To some extent, the three of you, in the most simplest way, you have similar backgrounds in the sense that you started in very traditional non-tech roles. You've identified a gap and you've built technology product to fix it. Before we directly speak about your tech ventures, I'd like each of you to just spend a minute to answer, based on your non-tech business, to what extent can it operate effectively without technology? So, Bukky, you can go first.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Her Network. Before I start, can we just give a round of applause for this fantastic event? Well done. So, my name is Bukky George-Taylor. I own a public relations company called Robert Taylor Media. As you know, PR from 10 years ago, PR now is completely different. We are relying quite a bit on some tech to gather information and insights to provide to our clients, especially when we're reporting. I had zero tech experience when I decided to build Crawl app. If you haven't downloaded this app, it is the most amazing app, if I may say so myself. Because on a Friday night, I want to go eat steak in Lagos, and I don't know where to go, and I can open up that app and check that out. And funny enough, the app is also really helping our PR side of things. Because we have a hospitality department, we work with different alcohol brands, we work with various events and things like that. Through my app, I am able to gather data on, for example, women who like art and like champagne. Because some of those questions come up when you open up the app. And I'm able to then filter my guest listing for an art event, for example. I'm able to publicize through my app as well, because I can send out push notifications and tell everyone in this room where to go, right? So I do definitely see a relationship with the app and my business as well. And that's basically it.
Thank you so much to Inkem and to Her Network. I'm really happy to be here at the first Her Summit. My name is Joycee Awosika, and I'm the founder of Oriki. Oriki is a farm to skin and wellness brand that started 7 years ago, next month actually. It's been interesting because, as Folake said, my background is even out of this industry completely. I'm an energy economist. And for me, I saw a need, and I built upon that need. So problem solving is at the core of why I began to create Oriki. But I have allowed technology to play a critical and central role in driving this business from inception. So again, it's non-traditional tech because the way Oriki started was first through products, through its product range of natural products using ingredients sourced from Africa. But then we moved into creating these wellness spaces and centers. And I mean, that requires you to physically come in for a service, it's the wellness. But then we realized something really powerful, something similar to what Bukky touched upon, which is just staying close to our customers and hearing what our customers needed. The wellness sector has changed drastically from when we started till now. And I would say that when I tell the story of Unwind, which is the app we've built now, first of its kind in Africa, it's the Uber for spas, and it's wellness on demand. Thank you. It was really a story of listening to our customers. So 2020 came along and the COVID hit and everybody was just like, well, that's it for my industry, like hospitality, wellness, events, like everyone kind of felt like all these touch industries were finished. But I was just relentless. We're not finished. Something is going to come out of this. So I kept my ears to the ground and we had this database, right? So since everyone had to book their spa services online, we had thousands of customers. We stayed close to y'all. I hope some of y'all have had Oriki experiences in here. Okay, awesome. So we stayed close to y'all. We sent out newsletters, found out what was going on, and the resounding information we got is, can I have a spa service now? Like, this is 1 week into COVID, when everyone is like, PPE, you can't go anywhere, and we're like, oh, sorry, we can't. We're too afraid of, Lagos state regulations. We're closed. But how can we solve this problem? And it literally transformed into this idea that we could scale at-home service by sending out a therapist to you, wherever you are, at home, office, work, anytime, at your own convenience. And within 7.5 weeks, from June to August, we were in 700 homes. That was when I knew that there was something. And tech became my focus. So it became more than just building this app. It became, how do I digitalize the entire Oriki experience? So for those who still want to come into our 8 different locations, you can come in and book online. If you want to have a service on demand, it's 6 p.m., you're a banker, you're going to kill time by staying in the office till 9. You can have a quick service in your office, you can book on Unwind. And that was how we began to build this opportunity using tech as well. So it's only an extension, and we really hope to disrupt the wellness sector across Africa. We're in Lagos now, we're going to Abuja and Port Harcourt in the next couple months. And then we're going into Kigali, Nairobi, and many more countries. So that's the plan, and it's still wellness. It's still just taking tech to transform the sector.
Hi everyone, happy to be here. Thanks Nkem and the entire team. So my name is Tobi Olanihun. I run an experiential events company called Wow Connect. I've been in business for about 12 years now, I think. I know nothing, so yeah. The events industry is very interesting and can be very chaotic, but very interesting. And I think from the onset, I've always wanted to do things differently. I've always been driven by innovation. Because even if I use the example of during COVID, when, as Joycee said, that was the time when everybody was like, woe is me. It was a time to just say, what next? And that's when we started doing a lot of team bonding, virtual things. We started doing virtual events at the very, very beginning. Some people actually said to me, were you wishing for COVID? I was like, no, I wasn't. But I just had to move, right? And it brought to the fore what I already knew many years ago. I love to learn, and maybe 4 years or 3 years into events, I started going for conferences all over the world. And I just noticed that it was really different. It was always very seamless. It was always technology driven. It was data driven. It was really different. And I always wondered why we were behind. So even then, I went to some exhibitions, tried to partner with some of these, especially American companies that did registrations, ticketing, event tech, data sourcing, all those kind of things. But I realized it was kind of a cabal because nobody wanted, I said I wanted to be your person in Africa. I wanted to actually drive a lot of these technology solutions for events. But I was always getting closed doors. I don't know. Well, I know why now because there's a lot of money in it. But then I just kept trying, and it didn't work. So I said, okay, we're going to do our own. I'm tired of people queuing, people frustrated, people shouting at events. It's not necessary. The reason why an event is being held is to achieve a purpose. It might be either to educate, to entertain, to connect. And most times in Nigeria or Africa, or just generally, actually, anywhere in the world, sometimes the other logistical problems, the other bottlenecks disturb from that enjoyable experience. An event is enjoyable. I do events because I just want people to be happy. I want people to have fun. I want people to focus on their own core, and we facilitate the other things. So that's why, I started Event Tech. And with TEPS, what TEPS does is from the very beginning on how you invite your guests, how they register for the event, how you call speakers, how you scan them in, everything that the event owner or the event planner has to do, we automate the process. So it makes it faster, it makes it seamless, it makes it a more enjoyable and a less stressful experience where you can focus on why you're doing the event. So my experience in events definitely helped with what I do, for sure. It actually fueled it. Some people have tried to do this, and I've seen the difference why mine is much better, and that's because I have the experience. I know where it hits, I know what the pain is, and we've been able to design the solution based on that.
Thank you very much, ladies. So Tobi, if you can keep the mic for a bit. Just to dive in more into TEPS. So I know for me at Town Talk, or for us at Town Talk, to build the foundation of the company, we need to have strong ties with physical security industry. So it meant introducing technology to an industry that was very resistant, very untrusting of technology. How have you found the introduction of TEPS in the events industry? And has it been easy getting buy-in? And what have been people's biggest fears or reservations with adopting it?
Okay. It's 50-50. You have people that finally, our own solution. We're not going to some American company and paying thousands of dollars. This is amazing. This is refreshing. I actually had not a lot, but a number of event people reach out to me and say, Tobi, how can we even buy into this? This is just amazing. We had the excited ones, then we had the others that are like, this is going to take our job. How does this work with us? And we're like, yes, we're not competition, we're collaborators, we're helping you. We're not TEPS is not an event planner. TEPS is not Wow Connect. TEPS will help Wow Connect, but TEPS is not Wow Connect. So we work hand in hand. So we had those two sets of people. But I think that the onus is on us, because what happens is the people that have been a bit skeptical, when we walk them through, do demos, they're like, in fact, I have an event planner that now she sends her clients straight to TEPS. She's like, do you know what? They shouldn't go through me. You handle everything. Let me focus on the other things. Let TEPS handle those solutions. So I think, and that happened because her and her team took time to go through everything, do the demos, understand it. But we all know that marketing can be a bit expensive. I think for us, we bootstrapped. I don't know what and man, I didn't realize how expensive. I didn't realize at all. So we focused on developing the tech, and by the time we're done, there was no money for marketing. So we're like, but now, we're going to get funding and stuff and do some things bigger. But yes, it was, 50-50. And I'm just finding that the more they understand, they didn't really understand what we were doing. Once they do understand, the buy-in is almost 100%.
That's great. That's great. So, Bukky, back to you. So, Kroll is very, very different to Robert Taylor Media, even though there are some links, yes. But your experience in general in PR and marketing positions you quite strongly to do anything, because you know how to access the market and how to position it in any market. So, can you just talk us through your journey? And whilst you're describing this, if you can just speak specifically on what motivated you to develop it. What was the gap you identified and felt you needed to fill? And how did you even begin to embark on this journey? How did your experience with Robert Taylor actually help you? Yeah.
Thank you. Good question. So I started my agency when I was 25. It's going to be 15 years old next week. And because I've spent so much time in the market doing what I do, and if you know the world of public relations or marketing, then you know that you know everybody. My company has a corporate department and has a lifestyle department. The lifestyle department has launched some of your favorite restaurants like Haley, Zed Kitchen, has launched some of the best nightclubs we have here, like Zoya, the library, and more. So putting together or being known for success in that space, putting together Crawl app was difficult and then not difficult at the same time. I'm known to know how to pull a crowd. I can fill up a space with all the right people. And so the restaurants, the bars, the spas, everyone else trusts me to some extent. So Crawl came about because I got sick and tired of people calling me and asking me where to go. Starting from Tuesday, my phone is basically going crazy with people saying, I have 5 people in town. I want to take them to a place that has good pancakes. I'm like, oh my God. Okay, so here's where to go and here's where to go. Where has the best amala? Here's where to go and here's where to go. Bukky, I want to go clubbing, but I don't want anybody to see me there. Well, this is where to go. You know what I mean? And also, I'm extremely passionate about tourism. I feel like Lagos is ready internally for tourism, but not externally. It's not attractive from the outside. If you look at what Ghana has done with over $1.9 billion in tourism in December, imagine how many jobs we would create and all of that. And I feel like we ourselves can sell Lagos. And I think that if we focused heavily on tourism, that we would be forced to step up in every aspect. Because now we're having foreigners in our spaces and we want to show them that we're a nice country or whatever. So we would be forced to step up. Think about how many restaurants have opened in the past 2 years. Every week, there is a new restaurant. Now, one of the things that was crazy to me was that before Crawl, if I wanted to book a table at SIP, I have to know the owner. Or I have to know the manager. No. What's your booking number? What's your reservation number? Are you responding? Where can I find all of this information? Think about somebody coming to Nigeria for the first time in their lives and not knowing anyone here. I mean, our airport doesn't even have an information desk, so I don't even know where you would go. There's no website that's going to explain to you, look at the beautiful Lagos and all of this stuff. It's difficult. You have to know someone here. But the rest of us, we can go to Ghana without knowing anybody because the information is there and all of that stuff. So I decided, you know what? First of all, to stop these people from calling you every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. You also want to help with tourism. And you also want to help people see what this town has to offer. And then I want to help all the businesses. Oriki's on the app very proudly. We have almost every restaurant, bar, and everything. It's curated by myself, don't get me wrong, but it has everything on there. Booking numbers, descriptions, images, and shows you a very sexy Lagos, right? This is basically that journey. I went through about 4 app developers. Somebody took my money and ran. I had different experiences. But I think my most difficult experience was not being able to find pictures of anywhere and people not being able to describe their spaces. I sent out a form to all the restaurants and bars. A restaurant came back to me and said, and under the description of their establishment, I'm a restaurant in VI. Well, yeah, that's not gonna work, right? So I'm calling the manager, I'm like, sir, what is your best seller? He said chicken wings. Then call yourself the home of chicken wings in Lagos. Give us a description that will make your space attractive. So I ended up spending 2 years taking pictures of spaces, food photography, and helping people describe their spaces to put it on that app. So that's what the journeys look like. We have about 7,000 active users on Crawl. People rely on Crawl to know where to go and what to do and what Lagos as a city has to offer. So that's basically what it looks like.
Yeah. Joycee, sorry, if you can explain your journey as well, but also talk about how your experience in non-tech business translated into this space as well.
Okay. So yeah, back to what I mentioned before. The app was built, I think something all 3 of us have in common. I mean, it was built out of a problem that we were solving that was also unique and touched our own industries that we were in. So it solved a problem for the industry. For me, I have a voracious appetite for knowledge. So I knew first and foremost when I was gonna get into tech, Unwind is tech, like purely tech. It's just like an Uber, right? So if you're gonna go, you know that Uber, as much as it's doing logistics, it's a tech company. They don't own any of the drivers, they don't own any of the cars. So I knew I had to upskill in knowledge. So first and foremost, it was really important for me to understand basic technology language. What would I need to know so that my developer and I could actually have a proper discussion? You know, what are the different people we need on my team? Things like that. So first and foremost, my background in building out Oriki and being a very structure-oriented person translated into Unwind. I first wrote out exactly what Unwind was all about, the problem we were solving. You know, you could take that as my first brief that I would give to a designer, right? So the developer, the UX guy or the UX lady, right? And so that was how I wrote out, we want people to be able to go online, go onto this app and then say, listen, I want an appointment. It's 2 p.m. right now. I want someone at 6 p.m. They get to choose their therapist, choose their location, and make payments seamlessly through the app. There's no sharing of money, nothing like that. And that they know that their person is vetted, verified, certified. So that's how I started. Like I said, the idea was born during COVID, precisely in July 2020. But I really got serious. We were really just scaling the home service through Oriki. We were opening more locations. We opened 2 more last year, and we've opened 3 this year. So I was really just focused on, you know, still scaling up the Oriki operations. And then November 2021 was when it really hit me that it's to sit down and start really building out this app. So I got together a team. Just like Bukky mentioned, I had my own experiences with putting together a team. I decided to outsource to someone that can put my team together, the tech team that is. And we began to build the app, look at iterations and whatnot. And then the app was fully ready by March this year. And then became the journey of acquiring providers. So a bit different than the apps that my ladies up here are doing. We have to ensure that every single therapist, professional, is certified. They're not a quack. They're not someone who's pretending to be able to do facials and massages. So that was a whole nother system, and I had to again go back to this idea of education. What did Uber do? You know, how did Uber ramp up on getting drivers? What was their model? What Uber did in the US is very different than what they did in Nigeria. And that's why we have different experiences in both places. So we were shocked. I wanna share this as well, because for someone listening, we were shocked. The idea was that we were gonna touch all the providers out there. As much as you guys go to your favorite spas, you know there are a lot of people who do freelance spa services that you can call to come to your home right now, or they maybe do it on the side. So we thought that was our target market for the provider. We're gonna get all those people that have their Instagram pages, I come to you, spa at home, all those things, and we're gonna get them on and give them an opportunity to make loads more money through online. But then we realized something. Even though Oriki has a natural challenge, which is a challenge to our customers, but it's something we're proud of, you know, we're usually fully booked. That is not the story of every other spa out there, right? So we realized that we had not just the B2C, we had a B2B opportunity here. You could be the agency and put your providers on here and you start making more money than you would be making if your spa was empty. And so we realized that that's two separate teams. There are those going out there and getting the providers who are individuals and getting them signed up, and then there are those who need to go and get the spas and show them again that we're not competitors. Right? So one thing you got to realize when you're building tech is that it keeps evolving, you know? It keeps changing. You keep seeing what the problems are, and you have to keep your ears to the ground to know what the true problem is. Because as much as we have thousands of freelance therapists, you wouldn't have known. There's so many masseuses and estheticians out there. You will be surprised that there are so many more spas, like all these mom and pop, you know, smaller spas, certain area type spas that don't even have, they're struggling to stay open. And now we're providing a chance for them to make more money than they ever expected. So with every single unwind booking, they get 70% full of the service. This means that a therapist with 4 or 5 services is making more than her salary, her monthly salary in a spa. And we're not trying to take them away from their spas, but the idea is meaningful income. We're providing, you know, direct on-demand service to you guys, and it's just really important to continue to evolve as you realize what the problem is more and more.
Okay, thank you very much, Joycee. For Tobi, can you add in terms of your transition? I'm not going into detail about the transition because I understand it's the same sort of problems that we all face when we're going into tech. But what has been the most difficult problems you faced becoming this tech founder, and how have you worked around that?
Hello? Okay. Most difficult problem. I think for me, but I think it's general, how important the developers are and how they can make or break you. It's scary. I think funding as well. I thought most of the money was in developing. I didn't realize it was in managing. So it's like buying a car. So like if you buy a Kia, the initial spend is not that high, but to maintain the car is high. But if you buy a Benz, the initial spend is high, but maintaining is low, that kind of thing. So I didn't realize how expensive it was to run a tech company. Because I'm in services, we keep some things low. It's really expensive. So I think I don't know if there are really problems that can be solved. As Bukky said, she had people, you know, she left, but I'm sure she's settled with one. So I think it's just like in any business. You have those problems, but by the time you dig in and just realize, okay, this is the problem, I'm going to solve it, it's not as bad as it seems. So funding, you can always get funding. You decide, how do you want to fund? Do you want to get investors? Do you want to do equity? Do you want to do debt? Blah, blah, blah. You move on. Developers, do you want them to be in-house? Your tech team to be in-house? Do you want to outsource? So I think my own problem was really not just realizing how massive the venture I was going into. I think that's what it is, because tech is big, is massive. It's not anything I've ever done. It's much bigger. You can start with Nigeria, you move to West Africa, Africa, the world.
Has legs.
It has legs, and as Joycee said, it evolves. So that's another thing. You might be. So there's some things we were working on, maybe 6 months ago. It's almost seeming irrelevant now, and we spend so much money. So it's crazy. It's interesting, but you just have to move. You just have to keep moving. You have to move very quickly. You have to make quick decisions. You have to take a lot of risks, and just believe that what you're doing is right. Yeah, I think that's basically it. Just have to keep moving.
Thank you very much. So I think we'll come to the audience for any questions. The lady in the front, is there any other questions?
Okay, hi everyone again. Thank you so much. Very insightful session. I think every blank space was filled up with the conversation. So thank you so much. I have a question in line with entrepreneurship. There are a couple of people on the panel that they have a main, and then there was the drive to go into the digital space. I think, for instance, with Bukky and also with Joycee, where you already have Oriki, you already have the PR company, and then there's Scroll app, and then there's also the Unwind app. One thing I've noticed with us in this generation is that they start things to be the jack of all trades, master of all. You believe, okay, let me have 10 businesses in one. Whatever ways, anyhow, one thing will bring money. Is it a wise decision to make? And if not, based on the fact that you have more than one, what was the drive? What did you finalize with on the first one to make you want to start the second one? Because, if there has to be something that makes you convinced that, okay, you know what, I'm good on this side, I can start on the other side. So maybe an advice to people that think if they have 5 businesses, they're good. Is it really a thing? Thank you very much.
Thank you. My 9 to 5 sees me doing a lot of personal branding during the day. And I know that one of the biggest questions that I get asked is, how do I brand myself and what am I known for? If I have 7 businesses, hairdresser, makeup artist, painter, everybody, who am I? And it's very, very difficult. And that's why you find that people who are jack of all trades actually struggle quite a bit. If you look at all of us sitting down here, everyone owns their own business. Tobi has Wild Connect, which I've known forever. How old are you? 12? Well done. Joycee has Oriki, and I have. All of our apps are relatable to what we do. You know what I mean? I think you should freak out if I own a PR firm and then I have an app for mechanics. I don't know, right? So it's all relatable. Her app, based on her years of experience in which she can now see where there are gaps. Because, you build apps to solve problems, right? Where she sees that there are gaps. And think about it. Registration for massive events, conferences, and everything is a disaster. You come in there, people are looking at guest lists with paper. We're flicking and licking our fingers and flicking. We don't even know, it's not in alphabetical order. You're looking for Mr. Gbadamosi, you can't find it, right? So she's provided a solution where, and correct me if I'm wrong, you can actually have a very seamless entry management of your guests, your guest list, your speakers, and everything. Because she does events, so she knows what she's talking about. Joycee has her spa. And she's also seeing a gap that, listen, a lot of people want at-home service. A lot of people, and Joycee is super smart, but I'll talk to you about that later, girl. She did not try to say, my competition, this is, no, honey. We're going to enjoy from it. So, with the demand of people wanting to do things at home and X, Y, and Z, her app is doing that. And then for me, in terms of PR, where everybody gets messages from me. There's an event here, there's this here, this is what's happening there. And then also my personality of being a publicist. And a publicist is meant to know what's happening, right? The app kind of makes sense. It tells you what's happening. I feel like I am Crawl really telling you guys where to go based on what I know, right? So that's basically it. But, you know, when I hear a lot of people have various businesses, I don't blame them. For me, that's a trauma response to the sufferhead of Lagos. It's true. If your job is not giving you enough money, obviously you're going to dabble in so many different things. But then when you get to the point where you want to take ownership of who you are, become an entrepreneur, you have to be known for something. So I don't know if that makes any sense.
Thank you very much. Are you happy with that? Okay. Yes, so if you can keep the question brief, then we'll take one more at the back. The lady in the green, because she put up her hand quite early.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm glad to be here. My name is Fanti. I'm a digital creator. Thank you for this amazing session. I've been working on an app, but it's been crazy. What is the first thing that you do when you want to build an app? How do you gather data? How do you talk to people? How would you convince them of what you're trying to do? Thank you.
Joycee or Tobi, who wants to take that? First thing.
So I think the first thing is to really clarify why you want to do the app. It can't be for money. That's the first thing. That can't be the first reason. Because if you're solving a problem, the money would come eventually, and it's a long journey. Some people might be really short for some others. I see Folake nodding. It's a long journey for everyone. You're going to work. So the why of it, and test the idea while you're clarifying the idea. Speak to the people that the app is supposed to be for. You have to do that. I spoke to different event planners. I spoke to Nigerian event planners, American event planners, British event planners, and the problems were very different. The way they wanted us to solve the problem. So the base problems were similar, but the approach was different. Like my Nigerian event planners are like, so we don't let this app be speaking too much English. Let it just solve this thing. Nigerians don't really like tech like that. So make it simple. Be able to send stuff to them on WhatsApp. All this email doesn't always work. You know, those kind of things. Americans didn't even mention WhatsApp. You know, those kind of things. So the cultures are different. The solutions are similar but different. So you need to speak to the people the app is for. Just have conversations. Have long conversations. And you actually have to spend time researching. That who do you speak to? That's where the work is. You're going to speak to any and everyone. You're going to search for your developers. You're going to search for your marketing team. You're going to, if you can, find a co-founder. All of us here, I think are single. It's difficult. I wish that was one of the first things I did was to get a co-founder. It helps. It really does help. So I think that's where you should start from. I don't know if anyone has anything.
I'm getting looks that time is up. I know there were others that had questions, but you guys are going to be around, right? To have a conversation. Oh, can we take one more? A quick. Okay. Yeah, to the lady in the back.
My question, I guess, is for the moderators that have apps on stage. I love technology. I'm a big user of it, but one of the concerns that I have is data mining and privacy. So I would like to know what you guys have done differently to address that issue so that users' information is protected when they use your app. That's it. Thank you.
So, welcome to Lagos. Very good question. We have a data protection policy first. I mean, even when you're building the app, Apple makes you do all of these things and whatnot. So, I mean, we don't have any different processes than anyone else who has an app. Apple, Google, everybody will make you accountable in terms of, you know, protecting the data of the people that are coming in there, right? But welcome to Lagos. But, you know, I mean, that's pretty much it. There's no other answer, is that you're already protected by the platforms as well. And then if anyone else is taking a notch further, like I have, in having a data protection policy in place. Yeah.
And I think just to quickly add to that, I always say that this is a good time to, when you're building technology in this time, there's so many frameworks and everything is in place for you to make sure you're not misusing data. You have to have bad intent to do so because it's just the line. The line is very clear now. So yes, I hope that answers. So thank you so much. I think I really enjoyed this conversation. So I hope the rest of you have.